guys, this is Christy and Debbie, and we are at the Woodlands Strollathon. And it's an event to raise money for Rett syndrome awareness, and we are going to walk at this Strollathon. Anyone?
Well, we're here to support little Mariano Jonell, team hashtag Mariano Jonell, which is a little boy from our church family, and his mother Anna, she's part of our life group, so she's like one of our sisters in Christ, and so we're here to show our support also for the family and for the event. Well, there's nobody here.
For those who want to raise awareness and accelerate research, from signature strollathons to galas, tournaments, races, contests, concerts, and major gifts. There are human clinical trials funded by RettSyndrome.org. Right now, it is sponsoring 4 human clinical trials, moving 2 compounds into phase 2 studies, and is now sponsoring the largest ever multi-clinic site with donations of more than $1 million. In addition to funding clinical trials, RettSyndrome.org also funds translational research, neurohabilitation research, basic science, as well as a fellowship program. RettSyndrome.org also is very involved in family empowerment, having a cohesive database, state rep volunteers, and educated, eager families in our ecosystem that draws the research community to us. This year alone, the Strollathons have raised, as of this morning, over $725,000 to fund that research.
Woo!
And in Texas, we have raised almost $50,000, which is part of that grand total. That brings the total of money that we have raised in the Texas Strollathon to over $500,000. Thank you very much for your support.
I haven't walked, if you're a Rett parent, I haven't walked in your shoes. I probably never will, but I'm willing to walk beside you and stand beside you. But my first question is how many of you can raise your hand? I guess you're aware that the children with Rett syndrome can't do that on purpose. Our hope one day collectively, I'm certain you agree, is that these children with Rett syndrome one day can raise their hand on purpose. And I know you're doing a lot just to be a parent or a grandparent or a friend of a child with Rett syndrome. I'm a friend of a dad who lost his daughter, Courtney, in March of 2003 to this disorder. Courtney was 16 years old. I never met Courtney, but I went to her funeral on March 9th, 2003. I'm here today in front of you is because I can't imagine going through what my friend Kevin Black did as far as burying a child. I hope never to experience that. But having said that, over the last 13 years, Kevin and I and Kenna and a variety of others, including many right here in front of me, have done everything in their power to raise money and awareness for Rett syndrome. And we have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. My comments to you tonight, or this afternoon, is just to say that we have this book. It's called Raising a Hand. 100% of the proceeds are going to help research Rett syndrome. So all the money is going to end up at RettSyndrome.org eventually. And we've sold this book 4,000 copies in 42 states. I only brought 10 copies today, and I'm donating them to Kenna's Strollathon. So I'm going to pay the cost of the book, and if you buy the book, you give the money to Kenna, it's $35. What I will tell you is that there's people that are involved and there's people that are committed. And what I'd like to share with you today, and you'll be one of the first ones to know this, is Kevin's brother, Clint Black, just did a new record. It's actually a CD, it's not a vinyl, but it's called On Purpose. And just this week, Clint decided that he is donating enough copies of his new record so that anybody that buys this book from this point forward also gets free a copy of Clint's book, record. That's a $20 value. It's his new music. So not only are you getting a book for $35, you're also getting a CD for $20. So that's $55 worth of stuff. And Christmas is coming up. So I have 10 books here. I don't have the CDs with me today, but my contact information is in the box. If you buy one of these 10 books, then you will also get Clint Black's CD. And I'm hoping that I can walk away from today with no books in my possession. So if you have a book already, buy another one, make it a gift. If you don't have a book, this would be a good time to get it. And if you don't want the book, then gift it to somebody else. But don't let me walk away with anything other than an empty box today. And I only have 10 books for sale. So if you will, please, and thank you very much. And God bless you all.
Thanks, Dave. So, as many of you have seen, we've got a silent auction going on underneath the lodge here, and that will remain open for a bit while, and I will let you know before we close that. We take cash, we take checks, we take credit cards, however you want to pay for the items that you win. So y'all follow the back team. We got the yellow team. And thank you all for showing up.
Oh, look, the lady's like, she's Skyping the one from Woodlands.
Oh, that's cute.
Ready, Lucas? Are you ready, Lucas? Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
Live? Oh, there he is.
There's R2D2 trying to walk also. And even Miko came out for this.
Slowing down,
Show his
man.
support. Showing support for Mariano and to find a cure. Oh, sorry.
Hey, to find a costume that fits this guy. Lucas, you gotta go home, Papa. Get better. We love you.
So there's Lucas. I'm not sure if we can see him, but Lucas is Skyping with us, and he's all the way from Sweden, so that he can also kind of participate in the Strollathon, but via Skype. So it's really amazing that with technology, people can now connect. And so whereas in the past, maybe they would have been, you know, maybe not being able to communicate, but now with technology, you know, it kind of brings everybody together. So that's the good thing about it. So across the pond are the other teams that are in front of us. And we will eventually get over there. But everybody's here for the same cause, to bring awareness so that we can find a cure for Rett. And Rett syndrome affects more girls. So little Mariano is 1 in a million because he's a boy. So we also want research to find a cure and more knowledge in Rett with boys or in boys.
We're at the Woodlands Strollathon here in Texas, and we're just doing a little short video to spread awareness for boys with Rett. As you may know, that boys can't actually have the clinical diagnosis of Rett syndrome. So what the boys have are MECP2 mutations. And my son, Mariano, he was diagnosed at 8 months. And we didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to go. And we came to the Strollathon, and everything is always about awareness, and I've said that since the beginning. I met Miss Stacy at the Strollathon event, and she'll tell you her story about Jake. And through her, I was able to give Mariano a better life, because she didn't say, you know, treat Mariano through his condition. It was treat Mariano for his symptoms. If he's coughing, suction him. You know, if he's drooling, suction him. Do those things to help his life better towards his symptoms and not his diagnosis. He may have inabilities, but there's an ability in inability. And so today I want to say Rett syndrome is very debilitating, and it steals so much from our kids, and it may one day steal my son. But we're going to keep fighting, and we're waiting for that cure. So I'll pass it over to Miss Stacy, and she'll let you know a little bit about her Jake. This is my Mariano. Thank you.
Well, my name is Stacy Hutchison, and our son Jake was born in 2005, and in 2008 he passed. When he was 18 months old is when we got the diagnosis of Rett syndrome. And who has ever heard of Rett syndrome? No, I never had. I'd never heard of it. And all the information out there talked about the girls with Rett syndrome. Well, we clearly didn't have a girl. We had a little boy, the love of our life, with the same symptoms, just not the same gender, as the Rett kids. So we decided, when we got that diagnosis at 18 months old, that we were going to focus on however much time we had left together with Jake. We weren't going to focus on the sadness. We weren't going to focus on the what could be, what will be, what should be, what's going to be. We've learned how to compartmentalize our sadness to provide a happy home for Jake. We had him for 18 more months. He doubled the life expectancy we were told he would experience. And one of the gifts of learning how to box up our sadness and compartmentalize it and put it away is that we were able to deal with his passing in a healthy way, if there's such a thing. It just wasn't a flood of grief. If we needed to feel it, we knew how to go to the box to open the sadness. But we could wrap it back up and put it back on the shelf. And through the Strollathons, we're able to connect with other families, girls and boys with Rett syndrome, and that's something that brings awareness and peace and just vanity, or not vanity, that Jake's life wasn't in vain. We can still help others even though Jake is no longer with us, and that's why we still participate in the Strollathons, in the IRSF, and the Rett Syndrome Foundation, because we have a lot of lessons to learn and hopefully some lessons to teach, and we feel strongly that we need to give back for all that Jake has
This is our son Logan. He's a little over a year old. He was diagnosed with Rett syndrome after only a few months old. So we're still learning a lot. He teaches us more and more every day. Every day is a challenge. Every day is a blessing. We're lucky to have him. He's changed our lives and our family's lives and countless other lives, people we don't even know. Gives us a reason to wake up in the morning, sometimes a lot earlier than we wanted to. But he's a strong little guy. He's got a beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, and we just have to focus on positive and leave the rest in God's hands and keep him as comfortable as we can.
This is Laura, and this is my nephew Lucas. And Lucas lives in Sweden, so he's not able to be here with us. Lucas is the only boy we know of in Sweden with Rett syndrome. So it's been really important to connect with the Rett community here in the States. Thankfully, the rest of his family, his mom's family, lives in the States. So it was important for us to come out to the Strollathon in the Woodlands this year to connect with other families who have boys. Rett syndrome is ridiculously hard no matter what. There are specific challenges for these boys, and there's more urgency for the boys right now. And it's been such a blessing to be able to connect with people via media, like you're watching now. We were able to have Lucas with us for the Strollathon on Skype, and it's been such a support for my sister Lucas's mom to be able to connect with the other moms through media. The day after she got the diagnosis for Lucas, she found Mariano's Facebook page and connected with Anna that way, and it's been so helpful to have that, just to know how to help, what we need to do, how we need to come together to raise awareness, to raise funding, to get research actually happening for these boys. So it's just our prayer that these boys will be seen, that we can be their voices, and that their purpose, we know there's such a great purpose for them, but that we can see that manifest even while they're alive. And we pray for lengthened years for them, but most of all, for that purpose and for God's glory.
Cure Rett syndrome, most especially METP2 mutation.